gotta crush up this stuff as I go. Some of it's gonna have to be blown up. Yeah, this tree stump was right in the middle of the road. So with this there, it was gonna make a real hard job of getting the sawmill through there, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. And you can see there's a lot of water out here right now. So this is the best time to scout for a location to put a building or to put a sawmill or to pile wood or anything like that, because you always want to look for those locations at the highest water. So at the wettest time of year is the best time to look for that sort of thing. And you can see here, the ice is just melted. So we're just able to get through a lot of this stuff now. And this is about the highest water that we're gonna have all year. So being as wet as it is right now, this is an excellent time to find exactly where we want to put our trails, exactly where we want to put the mill. I think that's some pretty wild stuff right there. That is the weirdest looking route right there. But this thing, because the pump and the throttle are all on one foot control, you give it a pump and it kind of shifts back to low gear. You give it a pump and no problem. Didn't have to hit the diff lock or anything. Yeah, this is some of the roughest part of the road here. Underneath there's quite a few old logs, like old cedar logs that don't rot, big rocks and all kinds of stuff through here. But of course, we're in the Kubota RTV, so we didn't have any problem. And you can see Mike is looking at this like, having second thoughts whether we should go through here. Yeah, but like that, I would rather have that because I would rather rely on that. I would trust that a lot more than I would trust the other types. The other ones are good for like speed machines and for, you know, but not for this. For pickup truck kind of work and for driving through real heavy stuff, the Kubota is way better. Plus being diesel, that doesn't hurt. And being hydrostatic, that really helps. It's like a Bobcat, like how a Bobcat's or an excavator drives, it's like that. Instead of being a belt system like a snowmobile or an ATV. In fact, the machine actually makes it almost easy. Like any other vehicle I've tried to drive through there, I've gotten stuck. Any other vehicle I've tried to drive through there has got stuck 2 or 3 times before I've got to the back. I've gotten back with a couple of Jeep type vehicles, but it's taken an hour to get there. So here we're finally back on dry land. And we're gonna have a real good look around here for a nice clearing. There's not too much snow buildup so that we know in the wintertime it won't be too difficult to work there. So I'm just unloading some pilexes. These are screw type piles that you set your first beams on, and you build your floor and your foundation off these pilexes. And they'll go down below the frost line, especially in a place with this much water. Yeah, that tree's gonna have to come down. And the landscape at this time of year, it's very wasteland looking, like without a leaf on it. And the deer have chewed all the bark off all the trees and everything's all broken. But within a few months, this entire place will be so green that you can't see 50 feet in front of you. So this is definitely the time of year to come out and have a look around. And this area we're in right now, I think that's probably going to be where we're going to do Sawmill Base Camp, I think we'll call it. Right here in this existing clearing, what do you think, Mike? Sure it is. All right, this tree already busted. Snowed my boots. This. There's still more than enough snow to fill your boots up with it. You could put your pants over your boots, but then your pants get all wet, so it's kind of a catch-22. So here's an area where we're going to find some real nice wood. There's a couple trees in there that are really nice. This one makes a sound that I really like the sound of this one. But there's a couple other ones here that I was able to poke right into the center of the tree through what only looks like a small wound on the tree, and the insides of many of these trees are hollow. And this actually can be quite dangerous sometimes, because there's often large pieces of wood hanging high up in the canopy. And if it's a windy day or any day really, that stuff can let go and hit you. So you always want to have your head up. So here we're in about 2 feet of water with the Kubota. And I actually find a rubber tire version, as opposed to a track version, works far better in water, because the tires give you quite a bit of buoyancy. So this road in a couple weeks is going to be a lot muddier, but a lot less wet. So we're going to be using this Kubota and an excavator, U-Dig 40 excavator, to dig up a few piles of soil that are up in the front and drop them along here to make this a little bit more passable, because it's much more difficult in when there's no water. Although you wouldn't think so, but it's much more difficult to drive through with no water. But you'll see what we're talking about. We'll be sure to get that. And this section here, this kind of terrain is a type of mud that causes a suction. So, you know, it's still impressive to see this machine go through just at idle, like it doesn't even work, and it just walks right through that stuff. It's still impressive, although I've had it for 10 years now. Yeah, I would think now it's going to descend right about on its original spot, which is about 5 feet from where I'm standing. Oh, the seagulls are not happy, eh? Cool. And here we got English muffin mini pizzas, one of Brandy's unique culinary inventions. Most of this wood is probably going to sit for 2 years or so before it gets burned. It just needs to get dried and seasoned. I've got a moisture meter that can actually check the moisture of the wood. So yeah, maybe we'll have a look at that in another video as to exactly how long it takes and how much weight a piece of wood actually loses when it dries out. Now here's Brandy driving the 125cc Guangzhou ATV. So next time out, we're going to be cutting down that birch tree that we were looking at, and probably a couple more ash and fir trees. And it might even be a good time to bring the sawmill out. But we're gonna have to take a look at exactly what kind of traction we're gonna be able to get. But all that's coming up next. I've got a couple of new chainsaws to try out. So I've got a 2020 Steel 880, which is a 125cc two-stroke chainsaw. And we're going to put a 20-inch bar on it, and we're going to take down a couple of those trees with that. And I've got another new one for limbing them, which is the Echo 2511T, which is the smallest saw I've ever seen, and it's actually the smallest gasoline chainsaw on the market. So we're going to try that. And the 880 is the largest gasoline chainsaw ever on the market. So we're going to try that too. So that should be a pretty interesting video.